Hi, my name is John Scully. This is number 6 in a series of many videos on living with a psychopath. And just that I didn't know it. And not only that, I did know that the rest of the clan were psychopaths. I knew they were crazy. I knew they were narcissists. I knew they were selfish. And the penny pinching is unfrickin' believable, and I'll go into that later. I'll tell you one thing. At one hotel, the Royal Hotel, and there's about 4 or 5 different, we went there a dozen or more, but 4 or 5 different things that really brought home. You know, the one time after I give the kids probably holiday number 18, 16, whatever it was, we were there and they were talking, and one of the other women that was with us made mention of something about coming back from holidays, and must have said something about thing and I not going on holidays. And I was directly across the table from my older evil sister-in-law, and she turned around and says, "Oh no, we don't see why we should go on holidays and pay for the kids' holidays. When they're old enough and working, they can pay for their own." There's a loving mother and father for you. How's that? Oh, and the penny pinching. When the evil auntie was here, the one that did the training session, throwing stuff on the table and then telling the evil number 1 to do the same, saying, "I'm here." I'll go into the full details. But they were saying, "Oh, John, take a photo. John, take a photo of this. John, take a photo of that." And then we were going to go to the Hyatt Hotel one night. And, of course, my evil ex, "Oh, let's go around there, you know, hang on, they're 2 kilometres the other way, we're going to the city." And I knew, because when we get there, what they do is say, it was always the evil sister-in-law, "Oh, seeing you got your car here, we just go with your car." Oh, you frickin' bloody, saving petrol, and then I pay for the car park and the petrol and everything, they get away scot-free. That's only part of it. And anyway, on this particular night, I said to her, "Seeing you were going there, if you want to take a picture, get your camera, bring your camera in." And she turns around, No, we don't want to take photos. No, we've got enough photos. No, we don't need photos." And then at the end of the night, when we're about to leave, there's the staircase coming out of the restaurant where you have to climb the staircase to go. "Oh, there's a beautiful staircase," she says. "Take a picture of here. Take a picture of this." And I turned around and said, "Well, I told you to bring your camera in. Why didn't you bring your camera?" "Oh, no, you always take your camera, and you always get doubles, we just take yours." That's their frickin' mentality. They were too stingy to take a photo. And I realised then that not one time did they bring a camera out to take photo of other kids at their birthday party, and it was only my kids. The reason being, I don't see why we should take a photo of their kids and they get benefit out of us paying 21 cents per photo, and no, it should only be of our kids. So they never bloody took photos at birthday parties. Unfrickin' believable. And I can tell you 100 other stingy stories. And they talk about the Scots being stingy. They've got nothing on these people. But anyway, with a couple of things I want to mention, add to the episode 5 in terms of Joe being demanding he do an apology to the devil when it was the devil's fault. When I got back home, I said, so-and-so, and no, she didn't really want to know. Later on, when the kids go to bed, I said, "I am going to walk out on this marriage after what happened today if your mother doesn't stop coming around every single day and spewing poison. Make it a rule about once a week or something like this, twice a week, that she can come around, but not every frickin' day, and stands there in the kitchen corner spewing toxic poison against the rest of the clan, because she knew nothing about state, local or federal or even world events. She knew nothing. They never once talked about anything else, any events at all that most people would talk about when they get together. And anyway, end up that I said, "I'm going to walk out." "No, you're not. You're a Catholic." And I end up telling her all these crazy events, why I'm going to walk out. And that includes me being told many times, get the twins to eat, because she was worried they were skinny, etc. And I said, "They're fine. They're eating enough," etc. And then she made me, okay, all right, I'll push. I'll be the one that pushes. And then she contradicted me when I was doing it. And I come home one day and had this long talk. I'm going to go into that one later. And it was all frickin' sabotage, all frickin' evil sicko, and all the other crazy events. But this one about thing, when I turned around in the next couple of days after being demanded and we had that talk at night, I give her the cold shoulder. Yes, I did actually punch the ensuite door and made a hole in the back side of it because I was so pissed off at being told I had to go and demand Joe apologise when it wasn't his fault. And it hit me a couple of days later when she comes up and says, "Don't you love me anymore?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, still a little bit there." I said, "It's probably only 10% if that since we got married, because every time you do this shit, yeah, there's less and less love. And I realise, in fact, that you don't love me at all." "No one will love you like I do," she says. I said, "Well, that's bullshit, because you don't even love me." I said, "You never married me for love. You did it because of you didn't want to be left on the shelf just like your two sisters, and etc." And I said, "You're worried about what people think if you're left on the shelf and everything else." I said, "And if you loved me one iota, you would not have asked me today to turn around and go to Joe and demand he apologise when it's your mother's fault. So you using that emotional blackmail on me, if you love me, you would do it. But now I realise if you loved me one iota, you would never, ever have asked me." So there you go. And I'll talk about the women I've loved and loved me at much later. In fact, even before we got married, I said to her, "Do you want to know my past in terms of going out with women? Because I've got to tell you, I was going out with 3 different women when I met you, but I wasn't ready for marriage." And she said, "No, I don't want to know." But she's the one that keeps secret. I offered. Anyway, we'll get into something else. And I put up with that brainless idiot for 30 frickin' years, another 3 years of lying and brainless through the bloody divorce. Oh, God. Talk about going to hell and back 3 times with a bloody woman. God. Amazing I'm not a bloody alcoholic like most of the guys I've met who've put up with 10% of that crap. Yeah, I think I'll put the event that happened the day I come back from my overseas trip, the first one when the government wanted to export my expertise. Oh, and thank you, Laura, thank you, Laura, thank you, Laura, for that last one. I would never have said to her, despite all the crap and thought she was crazy, because of the woman that I said I was working with in the late 60s, when she used to say her husband says she's got a head like a sieve, I thought I'd never be rude. And I did my best not to do that, and I never called her, never has said to her, even though I knew effectively what you said, Laura, she didn't have a brain, and her admission, nah. But I never once said that to her. Anyway, with this other event I want to point, I might as well do it early. I'm going to get into my achievements, and they're freaking unbelievable, and it was the people at the hospital really made me realise what I've achieved. But anyway, with the event when I come back from my first overseas trip, when I got home, I was unpacking my suitcase on the bed, and I see the car driving in. I was getting presents for the guys to put in the car so I can go down the what was the old Port Adelaide police station. Now it's a tourist information centre. And I said to the evil, devil and ugly, well, I didn't use those terms in those days, but the devil and ugly have just rolled up. I hope they're not here to see me or whatever, because I'm in a hurry to go down to the port. No, they're here to stay for a while. Oh, okay, all right, fine. So as I got out the door and they were getting out of the car, I just said, hi, I'll catch you later, and got into the car, took off down the port, was there for a few hours, whatever it was, 4 or 5, 6 hours. When I got home, they're still here. Oh, okay. They had dinner. After dinner, they sat on the lounge, relaxed, and of course that's all they do. They never worked. But anyway, end up 8:30, 9 o'clock. They had a cup of tea or coffee and biscuits and everything else served up to them on a plate. And I'm thinking, when are they going to piss off? I want to talk to the wife and to the kids alone, you know. Anyway, they turn around and about 9:30, Evil goes into the big lounge that we had. It was so big originally that she made me put a bedroom in there for the twins, which was totally impractical, but that was the only thing, because seeing she wouldn't shift, because I wanted each of the kids to have a bedroom of their own and build again and everything else. But no, the delusional, now I understand the delusional of a psychopath and her mother thinking she's the queen. She should be over by the lake and not at Swan Terrace. Well, end up that I walked into the lounge and, what are these 2 beds for? Oh, well, I told you they're here to stay for a while. Yeah, but I mean, stay for a while. I'm thinking 4, 5, 6 hours. What do you mean stay for a while? Oh, well, Joe's sick and they're going to stay here until the house you bought for him for Ugly is the lease runs out and they're going to move in. So, Joe is sick and they're going to walk away. What? And I turned around and the devil was walking into the area and by the twins' bedroom door. We're having the conversation. I turned around and I said to her, you've been married for 18 years. I was tempted to say you knocked on his door to steal his pension like the cheap slut you are, but I resisted. But I turned around and I said, you've been married for 18 years. You're supposed to be married for sickness and health. Aren't you going to look after him? And she has this weird look on her face, screws up her nose, and her hands, I can't do it. If I ever get the Codex thing to work on this YouTube, I'll do a demonstration. But end up that she turns around and says, after screwing up her nose, and starts doing these hands, are you crazy? And I thought, what the hell? She's never spoken to me like that. And she turns around and says, I don't look after people, they've got to look after me. And now I understand the psychopaths, and I'll put a couple of pages up while I'm doing this of what it means. It's not recognising that they think they're the queen, and it's my attitude or my comment about aren't you going to look after him. I didn't recognise that she was the queen. I did. Mentally, I knew that she thought she was the queen, but the fact that I didn't recognise it was the reason she got angry and said, are you crazy? And you know what? I didn't get asked. I waited for about a month or 2 before I said to the evil wife, I said, you know what? They've been here for a month or 2, whatever it was at that stage. It might have even been 3 months before I said it. I said, I used to ask you, even for simple things like I want to get my cousins over for a barbecue, or I want to get friends over for a barbecue. And I'm only talking about 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours at the most. And you always said, no. And now you've isolated me, and I said to you years ago, you've isolated me from friends, you've isolated me from cousins. I said, I used to ask you for simple things because it was our house, and I should ask you. But these 2 frickin' Ugly and the devil have moved in, and they've been here for, it was definitely more than a month, because I later on I said, why doesn't one of them go over to the sister's place and we get one each. But anyway, end up that, she says, I didn't think you'd mind, Yeah, but it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, why didn't you ask me before they moved in? Ask me my permission if they can move in, because I'm the one that's bloody paying for the house I'm the one that's busting my gut. I'm the one that's working things. You're not even fricking going to work. You're not even doing my typing for the business. And I was trying to run this. By that stage, I'd given up running this shed business because I couldn't cope with both, and et cetera, et cetera. And you should ask me, oh, okay, well, didn't really apologise or nothing. And you know what? I think it was about 4 years later, Ugly goes to Sydney for 8-9 months, and guess who come over to my place for another 8-9 months? And guess what? Didn't get asked once, not frickin' once. It's her house. I had nothing to do with it except I had to pay for everything, every single thing, and I'm the one that did all the back-breaking work and the long hours and everything else, while they watched Days of Our Lives and The Bold and Beautiful and were delusional and sicko. And of course, I didn't realise at that stage that she was gambling my bloody hard-earned money. Yeah, she's accused me of gambling in the thing on the affidavit, and she mentions 2004. We got invited to the VIP room. It was 2000 on my 52nd birthday. And why did we get invited to the VIP room? Because I was totally honest. When the dealer put some money out and we were playing red and black or whatever, and twice it happened within about a half hour, an hour, and I said, no, I'm not picking it. I made aware the dealer, and my wife's saying, take the money, take the money. I said, no, it's not mine. I didn't earn it properly. It's not mine. And then a guy called Malcolm, he was a chief supervisor. He got told, and he come over and he started talking to me about it. And when Evil said it was my 52nd birthday, he said, oh, well, this celebrates, I'll buy you a drink. And we went into the VIP room. How's that? Because of my frickin' honesty, I wouldn't take money that the dealer put out twice, and it wasn't my money as far as I was concerned, but she's a kleptomaniac. Even at hotels or motels when we used to go somewhere, she'd want to steal the 10-cent little bottles of bloody shampoo or the 2-cent bloody little soap packets. Oh, what for? Bloody 2 cents. It wasn't like she was a collector and you have them, on a shelf or anything. It was just a kleptomaniac, the whole bloody clan. Fraud is their business. Embezzlement is their family business. They know nothing else. Lie, deceive, cheat, embezzle, that's all they frickin' know. Take, that's all the whole clan. Well, anybody with half a brain or a quarter of a brain will now work out why it hit home when I read Psychopath after the nurse suggested I read it, and all the associated links with narcissist and delusion and grandiosity and hypocrisy. Of course, I knew the hypocrisy. In fact, as I said to her when I walked out in January 22nd, 2004, you go to church every Sunday because you have to. The trouble is when you take that bloody piece of bread and you put it in your mouth, you take the attitude, God's forgiven me now because I've taken the holy bread. So therefore, whatever shit I did last week didn't happen. And then she goes the following Sunday, etc. Because there was one occasion a few years earlier where I don't remember the point that we were talking, but I started talking about some crap, not as big as the couple that I mentioned. And I'm saying, why are you going to... Oh, let's talk about it when I come back from church. Okay, so she ran off and went to church. I guess she didn't want to talk about it because she still had a bit of time, or she had to pick up her mother and everything else. Then when she comes back from church, I forgot about it for a while, and after dinner, anyway, I remembered. Okay, I'd talk about it. No, not in front of the kids. Wait till the kids go off, whatever. And then I asked her, and she said, what? What are you talking about? I don't know. Don't know what you're talking about. And it was like you go to church, take the holy bread, and then because that's supposed to be a sign of God forgiving you, she takes the attitude it didn't happen. What a frickin' sicko. I'm putting on number 7. There's a hell of a lot more shit to put on. All the truth, it's only the truth, in 2007. And if any, I doubt it, but if any of the 220 people I looked after at the hospital, although there was 240, there was another area, the rest are in a different group. Excuse me. And But the 220 that I spent 12 hours with, thank you. And if anybody does come across it, either in 2013 for Christmas or anyway in 2014, I wish you a Merry Christmas, etc., etc. Oh, and to Dougie, oh boy, Dougie, have I got a message for you and Laura. In fact, all 4 kids in the new year. Yeah, to the 3 teachers, I know I've already said it, but how disgusting. You're going to find out how disgusting all 4 kids are. They abandoned me for these sickos, and I'm the one that stayed in the marriage, even though I knew the mother didn't have a heart and didn't give a shit about them. I didn't get a divorce for them. I made promises. I kept my promises. And this evil psycho narcissist, not one promise did she keep. But anyway, we'll get into that 2014. Cheers.